Hi guys, and welcome back to another video on the next one in the review of Daniel. Um, I was just worried in case it didn't it didn't start at the video there. But anyway, before we get into it, I did my raw review. It's only got one like on it. If you could like the video, oh, it'd be appreciated. But like, let's get into the um. Oh, let's get into the next review. So we start off if Shawn Michaels given Roberts on the general manager role. This comes off the back of obviously Ava's departure in real life. Now I know there are some political elements involved. I'm not going to get into that. We better wrestle and channel, and I just want both sides of the political aisle to just enjoy professional wrestling because there's enough shite going on in Hollywood with all the crap movies and shit that's on the out. You've get the whole you've get the whole political situation everywhere. We'll just have one thing where both sides can just enjoy, sit down, and just basically get lost in professional wrestling. But Shawn Michaels actually, but Shawn Michaels was actually said to, actually said to Robert Stone, Stone, you've been here a lot, you've been through a lot, so sorry, we've done everything we've asked you to do. Um, so this is why I'm giving you the NXT interim general manager roles. One actually says, "Hey, Hobbs NXT, thank you for the opportunity." So then we jump straight right into the match, the first match of the night, and it's a triple threat match for the NXT North American Championship. You have Izzy um Izzy Demo Vice and Hale. This maybe is a really good match. You had the right the start the match. You had the UFC feel to it with obviously Thea Hale go on for our submission finisher maneuver, the Kimura. Oh, yeah, had all of Ice have Thea Hale in a sort of MMA ground and pound situation. Of course, Lola of Vice, as you know, um, has both a kickboxing background, but she's a former MMA fighter, as you know. But that gets break, that gets broken up by an Izzy Danger up kick. The three have pretty good exchanges. You know how a triple threat works. One gets eliminated from the rings or a bit while the other who's yeah, wrap it out. But the finish of the match actually sees Wall of Ice outside the ring, but she's then attacked by Killer Annie Jo Orton still. She's then attacked by Killer Annie Jordan still. Uh, still, but after about the loss. Um, still, but after about the loss, she takes the hand that she uses, that will uses the back first, or gets the ladder out from under the ring, which is to be used later on in the show for the 7-man ladder match. She hits low she throws low of Icy's hand into the ladder, slams it down. That takes Low out the match, so that feud is continuing. Meanwhile, Lizzie hits a power bomb and gets a victory. It was a sit out style power and it's usually the game over. She hits and I'd have preferred to that, but this move looked okay. Um, she had Sean Spears and hands out with her, so they celebrate with. For as he Dame retains, she kinda knew that was gonna happen due to it being due to it being her first offence of the belt, and her ring gear is basically a shot to Tatum Pax to her. With the half sort of red, half sort of white. Tatum usually will wears that ring gear, so that's an odd to that feud continuing. Icy's out both low and hail from future shots for a bit. Lola was back into the feud with Killer Annie. Obviously, Killer Annie's still angry about obviously Lola beating her in a previous match, and so those two go off into the feud again. I am back to the drawing board that looks like for Thea Hale in the back. Though you see Ryan, you see having a chat with Soul. Congratulations on getting the final three. He says so. Says I was so close to me in event in the WrestleMania. Zaria comes in and she's like congratulations on your Royal Rumble appearance, even though you didn't tell me. Soul says she was told to keep it under her areas, so just to focus on the win tonight, because that's what I'm doing. And so that's fine. Then we get to Dixon and Honors from ACU in the back. um, in the bar, and you're chatting, um, the, the, you're chatting about what happened to us the week with and starts obviously Zaria Connor's been Zaria Connor's been son of a family. King's been trying to recruit him into his ensemble because Ariana raises a daughter of Santino Marello. Uh, um, she's engaged acts both in storyline and in real life. And you've got Alexis as King, who is the son of the late great Brian Pillman. Of course, his real name is Brian Pillman and Jr. Or, but he goes under the Lexus King Monic, or as she's no. Then, so then, in acts and Ariana, or can they say, they say to the accent, um, don't worry, or your eye is gonna kill Amy's, gonna kill Amy's off right soon enough. Off, the accent and the response with, uh, uh, um, accent and the response with, uh, visual to an match, obviously, area and the response with my eyes are on the teach usually sin and yeah, so that's it. It's that up. A very good segment and a very good use of those three. Yeah, I like that faction. Obviously, you've got you've got Axis still the DNA International um champion. He's still the only person to still hold TNA championship belt. And then NXT. Don't worry, we'll get to the tag match with Shoulder and Zaria in a minute. Um, but then we get to Elio with Phil, who are taking on Charlie Dempsey in the Speed Tournament #1 contenders title tournament. Obviously, the winner of the tournament, obviously the winner of the tournament gets Jasper Troy and the Dwa Alta coming up in 3 weeks. Um, so yeah, this was a really competitive match. Obviously Charlie Dempsey takes the majority of the offense from much of this. Um, um, but ultimately after a few suplexes, Fuller was able to turn it around in the dying for 30 seconds. He hits the head, scissor take over on Charlie Dempsey and gets a free count. Now this guy is still doing And then this guy is still doing kind of Oscar emotion with Triple A, very similar to Wall of Ice. They both have that agreement in the here. Um, Same with if Jack Cartwheel from Evolve. Um, but yeah, this guy looks impressive, and on he goes just before the match. No, Jasper I says it doesn't matter who's the one, and then I'll make an example out of the winner. Obviously, um, obviously, the next tournament match is obviously Josh, but our eggs and Eli Knight. I'm still not a fan of the whole Eli Knight name. I think it's too similar to Eli Knight. Obviously he's an evolved call up to NXT. Um, and Josh but Alex who was added on commentary by Uka E a few weeks ago now. Yeah, so that'll be the second um second semi final. I know if you like the winner goes on to face Iwuio a filler in the final, and the winner of the final goes on to face Jasper Troy in Atlanta in 3 weeks. Um, so then we get so then we get a promo from Joe Hendry. He talks about how he hides behind a smile, and um he's a bit frustrated that Darby have got in the way of his title aspirations, and he's here to win and gold, and tonight he's going to prove it. Then we get a pearl almost from Tony D'Angelo. He said he was going to expel any actions from week, from the last few weeks, I should say. It comes out to new entrance music. The lights are all this is the hardcore version of Tony D'Angelo. He basically comes out and or runs down his accomplishments. He's a former Heritage Cup champion. That's why since been discontinued. Again, you've got the he mentions he's a former NXT and North American champion. So yeah, says so then he says he was happy he had a family. He knew who he was uh, until Dark State got involved in they took everything away from him. He then says he's back for 30 seasons, and the first 30 season as Dark State is gonna take everything away from and the second 30 then he'll reveal uh, Aaron. He also said he spent some time in a dark room trying to figure out who he was and trying to remember who he really was, a tough kid from Chicago. Oh, I still find that quite perplexing because he portrays himself as a New Yorker, but yet he's from um Chicago. So yeah, um that's a bit confusing. But I do actually enjoy Tony D. I do actually enjoy Tony D'Angelo. But any case, any case, then we head to the so we head to the so we head to the TNA Knockouts tag title match. And head up Elegance Butter and the event against Zaria um Z- um event against Arica Soul's Aria, and this match was really competitive. I really enjoyed it. Of course, MBL Higgins has been trained by Seth Rollins, another one on the Seth Rollins post has been a fixture on WWE programming. Another one of his students is Nathan or is who's on SmackDown at the moment. I know Sean actually likes when Elena go one to the background and he's wrestling us. So shout out Sean. Um, but yeah, this match was really like Solan's area. You could see the tension right from the end. Prince Zaria actually shoved Soul cut out the way. I am during the entrance show. Showed a few Uzis to the trademark fist pump that the two do. Um, but as for the match itself, you get some more the Ascension, um, Zaria, a few Uzis to do a double team. So actually, I get aggressively he tags Zaria into the match. Zaria kill Ian's house, but then they refused to tag Solo in. Um, eventually, his soul hits the bill and tag, so she's in. They eventually decide to go for a double spear. That pays off again. Another wee bit of back and forth until Soul hits the Soul snatcher, but on the area she didn't even into the the elegance, but Rand hit a one arrow double combination that looks really impressive, and they get the victory in the 10 area a the Emperor presents the the retaining champs with else obviously RRA as Sonia Deville. If you don't know, she signed a 6 month contract with TNA. As you know, TNA are on on AMC. So yeah, she was one of the big names they managed to pick up. So yeah, so that's what happens. Ash by Wiggins, the former Ina Burke, has reunited into the fold, although she's kind of more in an she's kind of more in a or anxiety capacity at the moment. She's still trying to get medically healed. But yeah, this was a really good competitive match. And yeah, and I really um I really enjoyed this match. Gives a bit of it gives a bit more more to the owner so of heel turn. Um, yeah, it's before that match. Low, he got up from the NXT official Twitter account, and it's just either a Parker getting an admiration from the crowd outside the performance centre, the familiar or Jada Parker chant. She gets attacked by Power Aikman and Nora on the outside, and Power Aikman eats her own. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to the eventual match between the two because of fantastic. You've got obviously Billy Aikman and oh who's this um who's this internationally acclaimed and top class wrestler. Uh, and you've got Jada Parker who um who is a standout graduate of the next in program. So yeah, so it'll be interesting to see where that actually heads. In the back you see Ethan Page, Evan Jackson, Drake, some for Ice. It says great. It says great. Oh, he says great. Oh, I'm trying to finish off Joe Hendry, but I'm next time do the job properly. You show no mercy, and you'll be featured the double champ like me. He get all up to night as for America is Oaks and Brad Bale are two focus and bringing the tag titles back home. Obviously, this is kind of it's a alliance. They're not really officially, they're not really actually as a unit with Ethan Page because he's still got his Triple M next Tag Team Championship with Chelsea Green. Obviously, Will of Ice and Mr. Anna are next in line for the shot. After Will of Ice becomes Anna's tag partner and chirp away by defeating Will. Hiedra, um, of course, Anna was a special guest referee. He even had his own costume during Anna shot. I thought that was pretty cool. But yeah, back to NXT. Then we get a promo from JC Jane, who, then we get a promo from JC Jane, who basically a challenge sold. She's sick of the hype. And she says she just went to the moment of being a part of a big event of the Royal Rumble or I, but it was snatched away from her because so eliminated her, or she wants to take out the hype. So then out comes so out comes Zaria, and Zaria says no, uh, she says no, OJ is so also enough for opportunities. It's sure. And JC, so I can think you have had offer opportunities at least so as talented and everybody loves our waivers easy. We're just a hanger on. So then you get then you see coming out and like they say that they want a short can do hurry. He says she knows she can beat ACJ in a really competitive match the last time, but either way, I just to take a slight break from on the promo section, but anyway, back yeah, um, and Zaria actually he says to them, you see, no, and do you with with Hadra shot as my tongue out and or and says no, and do the or and Zaria says I'm not talking to the side. Uh, Here I thought that was a good door, and but then you get sold and sold sold comes out and she was Aria the challenge was a should he will or and Zaria responds from I give you and title shots and opportunities and not when they going behind my back. He also hit me with this soul snatcher in the tag match. So there's the tension. Roberts the one and then Roberts on comes out after JAC threatens to leave the ring after he says that he is working sort out in your own couples therapy session. Again, another great line. Um, and then Robert Stone comes out. He says he's got an idea, and he says there'll be a tag team match around UCC Eve versus Zaria, and and the person that's was the fault it's shot against JC. JC actually he seems on board with it, and yeah, um, and then yeah, so that's fine. And then we get to the new Tracy uh, up against Stacks and X's King. Obviously, obviously it's a routine and for against Stacks. Um, but Andre he chases like well, I didn't you get into your corners and or rake up the pin. He kinda um so you get Ryan Connors kind of walks over to join that horrible what's unofficially confirmed that he's a member of course as I've mentioned before you're a high Connors as the son of Finley. So yeah, um so yeah, and I do think that this is the correct decision as the new chase you hasn't really been like the old this has kind of been like a flat version of like Iron Brew and it's been like if for a bit it just hasn't really been it doesn't it hasn't really been the same and obviously with Honor's background he um obviously with Honor's background he'd fit in with the ensemble. This for action's not got a name yet, but I'm really enjoying it. Um, of course it gives of course it gives Ariana Grande uh, um something to do as well. What gets her on the show, and I've said she's got a lot to offer at least promo eyes and another and she's pretty decent as well. She's got a lot of the range performance. They then it are have a discussion with Charlie Dempsey and they try and encourage Charlie to join. He's kinda got the family connection to William Regal, and he himself has kind of got a history with NXT in his own right as um general manager. But Um, but as I've said, though Charlie Dempsey's been kind of slow, yeah, into with the Escalate before in the rupture I to invade any impact. Um, so yeah, so it's isn't time for our child. Yeah, I think he's had enough of the UCC anyway. Eh, and I think this will be a good uh, or him, and in the main event, eyes and the seven-man had a actual injury as a new NXT champion. Now this match was very fast-paced, and Yano Carver looked like on on uh you had to Dion and up to who was basically who was basically like an on factor from much of this match. It had the two of guys, Sean Legacy and the Evolve champion Jackson Lakin here, and you had Shy Hill from LFG, you had Derek Saint, and then yeah, on Emerald, a fast-paced action, but towards the end of the match, though Yano Alva rises up from the uh, of it, and it Aussie's action break into the front row of the stands the performance and it takes out Dion and Ups and Shy how uh and his ears and his ears Sean getting through the stage Yano offers and dealt with, so it's down to so then it's down to Saints and Henry. Saints is all looking okay. He does his signature pose. Joe Henry or keeps up in the two and then have a bit of a roll on the ad or until eventually Henry smashes him in the face with the belt. Saints actually drops onto the other one ad or it's on the or Oaks and and obviously and obviously Joe Henry rules own the NXT Championship and becomes the NXT champion. I know a lot of people, I know a lot of people are annoyed that Henry wasn't in the Rumble, but this is kind of the reason. this is kind of the reason why he was saving himself for his big moment on NXT, as I should eh, but yeah, guys, I'm giving this an 8.5 out of 10, and this is a far more enjoyable show that this is a far more enjoyable show than those or a lot more action and a lot better Archie's character development here was really good, and I'm really interested to see the development and what X's action a generational wrestlers take over NXT. I'm interested to see Tony D'Angelo develop up now with his new the character. The new theme song is actually perfect. I like the entrance. It's a lot more ominous and arc. Joe Hendry, as I've said, is the new NXT champion. Perfect choice because he's an international star and it gives the NXT championship some prestige. And yeah, and then a perfect choice because if fans enjoy Joe Hendry at the moment, and you have war of ice and killer Annie Orton actually continue their feud. You have Tatum Paxley's ring here being played by Izzy like the Hutch. You have Ethan Pages alliance with Vanity Project and so when Zaria have the years off, and that was a really good match for the TNA Knockouts Tag Team Championships, and cool to see Aria hat on the next year. But yeah, guys, really enjoyable episode. I enjoy NXT. And it's 8.5, guys. I'm sure I'm offering this week. And in the comments what you think of it. NXT is on fire this week. And I'm so it's the brilliant wrestler. Oh, it's be honest and she gave a good account of herself in the Royal Rumble, but remember to like, share and subscribe to the channel, hit the bell, hit the video and comment in the comment section. Consider active criticism as always. And I'll see you over very soon for another video. And thanks for tuning in.